Oda confirms Luffy's next power-up after Gear 5, but it's not what you're expecting. This isn't just another form or flashy move, it's something that could rewrite everything we thought we knew about Luffy's strength. For years, Gear 5 stole the spotlight, but now Oda's dropping hints that Luffy's real evolution isn't about rubber tricks anymore. It's about breaking limits no one's dared to touch before. If you think Gear 5 was wild, wait until you see what's coming next. Trust me, this changes the entire game. In Egghead, Luffy hit the ceiling. It didn't matter how much power he brought to the table, whether he was twisting physics, stretching through dimensions, or unleashing hockey-coated haymakers. Nothing landed, nothing stuck, nothing worked the way it should have because the Elders aren't just powerful. They're something else entirely. They're cursed, they're hacked, they're practically immortal. And you could see the frustration written all over Luffy's face, because for the first time in a long time, he wasn't just outmatched, he was outclassed, facing opponents who operated under a different set of rules entirely. And no matter how hard he pushed, their bodies just kept regenerating, warping, reshaping into something untouchable. So what did Luffy do? He ran. And yeah, he had to. It wasn't cowardice, it was survival. But now that we've entered Elbaf, that escape route is gone. And this time, the stakes are locked in. The Elders aren't going to stop chasing, and Luffy can't afford to just stall anymore. Which means one thing, a new power-up is coming. And this one? It might change everything. And what happened next? Nobody saw coming. Enter Gaban, a name we've barely heard for over 1,000 chapters, but one that just came crashing back into the spotlight in the most unexpected way. This guy wasn't just one of Roger's top men. He was part of the original trio that conquered the Grand Line. And now, out of nowhere, he's on the battlefield, throwing hands with a mysterious enemy named Summers. And what we saw during that fight wasn't just hype, it was a message. Because the way Gaban fought, it hinted at a secret, a technique, a method for bypassing the immortality that makes the Five Elders seem invincible. And it wasn't just fans who picked up on it. Chopper himself chased after Gaban, clearly trying to understand what he saw, maybe hoping to extract some kind of medical or spiritual explanation for the phenomenon. Because if there's even the slightest possibility that the Elders' regenerative powers can be countered, then that changes the game completely. The Straw Hats aren't just fighting to survive anymore, they're starting to ask the bigger question: how do you kill something that refuses to die? And the answer might already be standing right in front of them. This next part might actually blow your mind. If Luffy learns how to land hits on beings like the Elders, beings who regenerate, twist space, and seem immune to the laws of reality, then he's not just getting stronger, he's entering a completely different dimension of power. Because the real final boss isn't Saturn, or Jupiter, or the rest of the Gorosei. It's Imu, the shadow that rules the world, the entity that's been pulling strings since the Void Century, and who now is using the body of Gunko, one of the most terrifying yokai-themed monstrosities we've ever seen. And if Luffy figures out how to crack through that, how to land a blow that actually sticks, then it's no longer a question of if he can stand among the legends. It's when he's already Yonko level. That much is obvious. But this next evolution, this thing he's about to unlock, it's what could finally place him shoulder to shoulder with the likes of Whitebeard, Roger, and Shanks. Not just as another powerful pirate, but as the one who surpasses them all. Because if Luffy learns how to beat immortality, then nothing stands in his way. And the craziest part? He's almost there. So here's something a lot of fans are starting to realize. Oda isn't just hyping up Luffy's power, he's quietly laying the groundwork for his fall. And no, not just a small loss like back in Sabaody, or when he got washed by Kaido the first time. We're talking about a catastrophic defeat, the kind that rewrites the tone of the entire final saga. Because for Luffy to become Pirate King, to reach that final island and change the world, he first has to be broken. And not just physically, narratively. That's where the Vivre card comes in. A little piece of paper that's been floating in the background for hundreds of chapters. And it's about to become the single most important item in the story. But what makes the Vivre card so dangerous is what it's about to reveal. A narrative tripwire. And it only goes off when things go catastrophically wrong. When that paper starts to burn, the whole world is going to feel it. But the question is, who's going to make Luffy's flame start fading? Right now, Luffy is untouchable. He's not just a Yonko, he's the reincarnation of Joy Boy, wielding the most ridiculous power in the entire story with Gear 5, and backing it up with mastery over all 3 advanced hockey forms. On paper, this man is unstoppable. So how do you make fans believe he can lose? Easy. You show them the one person even Joy Boy can't beat. And that's where Imu comes in, the true final villain of One Piece. Not just someone strong, but someone ancient, mysterious, and completely unknown. Oda hasn't revealed their full power for a reason, because when Imu finally makes a move, it's going to be the moment everything flips. And now, with Imu possibly making their move on Elbaf, the writing is on the wall. And this next part, it's going to hurt to even imagine. Imu doesn't just want Joy Boy defeated, they want him erased. When Saturn failed to stop Luffy at Egghead, Imu didn't care about anything else. He was furious that Joy Boy escaped. That's all that mattered. So now that Luffy is right in front of them again, there's no way they're letting that slide. Imu has waited centuries to destroy Joy Boy, and this is their moment. And here's the scary part, it's not just about power. Imu likely has abilities we've never seen before, corruption, soul manipulation, ancient tech. It could be anything. And if Luffy falls here, not only would it make sense, it would set up the darkest, most emotional arc in all of One Piece. Because what comes after a defeat might be even crazier than the defeat itself. So now, the big question, what happens if Luffy actually gets captured? That's where the Viva card becomes more than a death warning. It becomes a beacon. The Grand Fleet, Bellamy, Sabo, and every single Straw Hat, they all have a piece of it. And when it starts burning, every ally Luffy has ever made is going to know. They'll know something's wrong. They'll know he needs help. And Oda will finally have the perfect excuse to unleash every faction at once. A full-on rescue arc. Think Marineford, but flipped. Instead of saving Ace, they're coming for Joy Boy, but this time, it's the world versus the world government. Sabo leading the charge, the Grand Fleet tearing through Holy Knights, and the Straw Hats going to hell and back for their captain. And when Luffy finally rises again, he won't be the same. And neither will the world. So now everything is coming into focus. Luffy's not just climbing the pirate ranks for the thrill of adventure anymore. He's not just chasing the One Piece because he wants to be Pirate King. What we're seeing now, especially with the way Oda is ramping up these battles, these mysteries, and these ancient enemies, is a transformation. Not just in power, but in purpose. Luffy's journey is shifting from a tale of freedom and laughter to something much heavier, much darker, and much more world-shaking. Because let's be real, when you've got Gear 5, Advanced Conqueror's Haki, and still can't put a dent in the enemy, you're not just fighting strong opponents. You're fighting history itself. You're battling curses, ancient secrets, and a system designed to never be broken. The Five Elders weren't just meant to be bosses, they were made to be eternal walls. And Imu? That's the architect of the entire world order. The final riddle no one's been able to solve for 800 years. But now, we've seen the cracks. Gaban's reappearance proves there is a counter. There's a way to punch through the lies and illusions. The Straw Hats don't have all the answers yet, but for the first time, the map to those answers is starting to take shape. Elbaf isn't just another arc, it's the battleground where myths begin to bleed, where the untouchable become vulnerable, and where the impossible starts to look like destiny. And standing at the center of it all is Luffy. The boy who once got laughed at for dreaming too big is now on the verge of rewriting everything. His next evolution won't just be another flashy move, it'll be the key that unlocks the final war. Because once he learns how to truly strike those who can't be killed, once he figures out how to make even gods bleed, that's when the world changes. Roger reached the end of the Grand Line, but he never had to face what's coming now. Luffy? He's staring down monsters from the Void Century, living weapons built from fear and silence, and a ruler who doesn't even need a name to control the planet. But here's the thing, Luffy's never needed the odds to be fair. He's never backed down from a fight he wasn't supposed to win. And now, with Haki evolving, the truth unraveling, and his allies converging, he's closer than ever to shattering the throne that's ruled for centuries. So the real question isn't whether Luffy will win. It's whether the world is ready for what comes after he does. Because the moment he figures out how to beat immortality, the age of the Celestial Dragons ends. And the era of freedom begins. And this isn't just another theory. It's the logical next step in Luffy's story. Oda has always played the long game. And every moment we once thought was just a cool scene or minor setup, like that Viva card being split up in Dressrosa, is now revealing itself as a crucial thread in a much bigger web. Because Luffy's journey was never just about getting stronger. It's been about building connections, forming bonds, and inspiring loyalty in others so that when he finally breaks, the people he's lifted up are ready to carry him. A loss at the hands of Imu wouldn't be a failure. It would be a catalyst. The moment the story stops being about one man chasing a dream and starts being about an entire generation rising to defend the world he dreamed of. The Grand Fleet won't wait. Sabo won't hesitate. The Straw Hats won't break. That Vivre card burning away won't be a signal of death. It'll be the spark that ignites the biggest war One Piece has ever seen. And what comes next won't just change Luffy, it will shatter the entire power structure of the world. Because when the man who never gives up is brought to his knees, and the world rises to bring him back, that's when Pirate King stops being a title and starts becoming a legacy.